What's up, everybody? It's your favorite medic's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the X-Transbots Dr. Paragon. Their take on Defensor's, or should I say the Protectobot's first aid. I bought this from a personal collection, so who knows how it'll turn out. I feel like everybody else has better luck than I do. But I am feeling optimistic so far. But in order to get to the bottom of it, we have to first talk about accessories. His main accessory is a blaster. He has a parts-forming piece, but I'll just cover that when we go over the combine mode. It's really just this single gun, good sculpt, fully painted, and when it folds up, it reminds me of the '89 grappling gun, like the bat grappling gun, Batman's grappling gun. I'm not sure how I should really word that right now. Anyway, it folds up. You can take his rear doors here, so to speak, and open those up, and then put the gun in there. It doesn't really like plug in so much, in my opinion, as it does like sort of balances and rests well, and then once you fold that up, then like you're not gonna have a problem with it coming loose. And he can hold it just fine with a peg going into the palm of his hand in typical Masterpiece fashion. So there it is in vehicle mode, and we'll take a look at it next to Tiger Tracks. So about exactly the same size as an MP car, which I think is the right choice. I dig that. I love that for us. And what else do we have? Rubber tires, the die-cast wheels, sculpted well enough, I guess. It always is a little off-putting because the metal just looks so bland. Like, it doesn't like look like chrome. It doesn't look like, you know, silver paint for a hubcap. It just looks like, you know, die-cast. Emergency and this triangle are done in pad printed paint. The color's like a off-red, like a pink, more pinkish. I don't know. I'm not crazy about it, honestly. The yellow paint there, silver accents, blue translucents. You get to see the innards from the side, but from the front, they have this white panel there, which actually doesn't look bad. And then blue from the side here as well. The doors do open. Kind of a gimmick, I suppose. So that's nice enough, right? And there's like little seats inside. Even maybe arguably a little dashboard. And let's see, what else haven't we talked about? Black paint stripe along the bottom there. Looks good. Bumpers painted. Tail lights and turn signals are painted. Turn signals and bumper and headlights are painted. Windshield wipers are painted. It's a good little vehicle mode. Pretty clean underneath. I don't really have anything too negative to say about it. I think it's a good little van. All right, let's get it transformed to obviously to combine mode, because it's like mostly in combine mode, right? We're gonna untab the bumper and fold those down, and we're going to untab these pieces here and fold those out. And then that will give us good access to that button right there. So we're going to disconnect it here, press the button, and I may need a spudger because it seems like there you go. And then that will kind of almost eject it, honestly. And then you have to close that back up and then move the bumper back into position, because we just needed to get access to that button. Button, who got the button? You ever play that as a kid? All right, so you have this. Then you take your parts forming piece. We'll back out a little bit. This comes like this. Just spin the hand 180 degrees, and then we have to tab in. So we got 4 tabs here that go into 4 holes there. Just make sure that this is all sitting in there nicely. There we go. And you want to make sure that this bumper clears that one panel down there, and make sure that this is all pegged in as nicely as possible. For the front end, you want to like kind of open up this piece. You don't have to, but it kind of gives you the advantage to get access to right underneath this windshield that has to kind of come up and out. And then you can sort of tab all this back in. You can do it without doing it, but it's hard enough with doing it, just for that extra look. And that's even if you like this look, right? And then take it and plug it in the same way as you did the other one. Very easy, very simple, but effective. And I'll get this cleaned up and we'll take a look at it. And this is really solid. You know, good parts forming piece. Look at the piston there. Gives you that really clean look. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, wrist swivel, hinge in out, thumb is on a hinge, fingers are on a base hinge, secondary hinge, and tertiary hinge. Some of the joints are tight where you really start manipulating them. You do start to untab some of this stuff, but it is very easy and quick to reassemble should that happen. And then the shoulder works like a champ. On my first impressions, I was actually a little concerned with some elements of the shoulder, but so that's a bit of a bummer there. So you're only going to get out to, oh wait, no, there you go. Nah, because it starts to put pressure against the top part of the van, so the articulation outward might be a little limited, and it's mainly due to this little blue piece of plastic right here. But I don't want to judge that before we have the whole defensor done, so I'm going to reserve judgment. But yeah, I'm not mad at this. So you can connect them again, you know, but if you're going through all the modes, it's going to be easier. So maybe even for the video, it'll be easier to watch. So that's how we're going to do it. All right, so disconnect the bumper just like we did initially. Fold that down, open up this back section here once again, and then bring this extra piece down as well. You have a dovetail connection point here. You need to free that up. And then you can kind of split the legs. You can fold these pieces out. So fold these feet down. Fold the heel out. This whole piece here will rotate down and around. You can fold that out to the side, get that out to the back. Then you split where the windshield is, and that will fold around. This piece here at the bottom of the windshield, the rear windshield, will fold up. And it's just a matter of figuring out where that's supposed to all land. But you're basically forming the box around the lower leg, right? So something like that. And then this section here, you got one flap to flip. And then this flap to flip. And then all of this comes down. And then we'll tab in. All right, I'm going to try to show you a little bit better on this one because it's this panel here that's tricky to get quite right. And it's just because it's a tight connection point. So we're going to pull this away. Obviously, this opens up. We're going to try to pull this away. And rotate it around. We can rotate the foot out and the heel down. This opens up, so that'll help you clear it. Right? No, because that's got to go all the way on the other side. All right. And this is a little bit of like plastic around plastic. There we go. There it is. You just got to make sure that this L here between this die cast piece and this translucent piece fits around that corner notch cutout. And then fold this around. Fold this piece on the back down and fold this piece 90 degrees in. And then all of this wraps around. And then this piece, you want to fold this piece out. And it's this piece right here that's the tricky bit, in my opinion. But what I found doing it the last time was if you straighten it out and kind of continue to work it, you can flip it around as you're rotating that piece down. And then you want to tab that in. Make sure there's a piece here that tabs into the side of the knee, and then that sits underneath, and then bring your foot down, and I'll put the tire back on. And the only other thing that you have to do is these bumper pieces just come around and sort of tuck into the back. For better or worse, that seems a little not so thought out, but that's what you're looking for. All right, for this guy, it's a lot of what I showed you earlier in the beginning anyway. Just lift this up, fold these two pieces of the bumper in, spin this 180. Open up your doors here and open up these flank pieces, and then you can also tuck in your windows. All right, let's see here. Split your arms. You can unfold them a bit as well. You got to get this chest piece open here. Flip the head up, spin it around. And you see those screws there that are sitting in an angle? Those are going to come back to remind us of something there in a bit. And then these shoulders will rotate around and then out. And you can collapse the seats. So the shoulders rotate around, out, and around. And then you can collapse the seats. Then you can fold this up, bring these flank pieces back around to the back and fold them in on themselves. And then you have these pieces, so bring them up, spin this one around. This sits down to the side. The doors come down to the side. These, remember those screws we were talking about? They slide up and out on those screws. All the way. Feels like it should go just a little bit more. And then all of this collapses together. All right. And then doors kind of sit down. These tuck in. And then your window here drops down, and then this just kind of sits over top. Open up your wrist flap here. Fold out the hand and tuck in the siren at the same time, which is pretty cool. Close it. Same on this side. Open up. Some flash there. Fold out your hand. Tuck in your siren. Take your legs. Open the button up. Let it close. And first aid is done. I made this look a lot harder than it actually is, but there's just some tolerance things that we will talk about that don't like really help you along the way. But anyway, let me clean them up. We'll take a look at them. Let's get in tight on the head sculpt for Dennis. So the eyes are painted with a metallic blue, which looks pretty good. I like the chrome approach on their Constructicons better. The head is, I wish that locked in a bit better. The head is on a hinge swivel. You get up to there. Not a whole lot down, but you do get the full swivel. A nice sculpt work too in the kind of crest of the helmet. I think that works nice. The red and white are both painted here on the chest, and then you have the tires as well that are, have a little bit of flair to them. Shoulders, look what we have here, Billings, butterfly joint. We have over 90-degree outward rotation, and then we have 360 around where it plugs in. We have a bicep swivel, a double jointed elbow, but this is one of my criticisms with this guy kind of across the board. So that screw is really tight for one. If you look at the clearance, they rub up against each other. Like, watch me just move that. See right there? Can you see that? Let me zoom in. Watch. It has to go rub right past, And like, there's a lot of paint that is chipped off of this guy during transformation. That's all a criticism for me. Anyway, wrist swivel, hinge, in, out, fingers on a base pin knuckle with tight rider fingers, and then the thumb is on a swivel. Back out a little bit. The arms are fully painted white, but, plain to be tune accurate. So this is another one of my complaints, man. So the backpack has flipped down because it doesn't tab in. And this is getting it's a loose joint. It's like getting looser as it goes on. There, that's pretty good. But like it doesn't. Oh, I guess there is a little notch there. Sorry, there is a little notch. It just doesn't hold great, but there is a little notch. We'll give him a little credit. Okay. Waist swivel works great. Little bit of a reverse ab crunch, but that's about it. We have hip skirts that'll rotate up. Let's back out a little bit. Look at the whole figure. We have universal joints for hips that get you past the full Van Damme and the full Monty. Thigh swivel around the universal looks great. They're technically a double jointed knee, but because of the bumper, you actually lose some significant articulation. I wonder if you rotate it out to the side, you can get the full range there for pictures or what have you, but you do have to kind of like manipulate the engineering in order to get it. Paint apps look good on the windows there. And emergency still on the sides, which looks nice. We have the ankles, ankle tilt down, ankle tilt up, extra heel support, and a full rocker. So the ankles are done quite nicely. Yeah, it's a mixed bag. It's definitely not a bad figure. But after handling their Scrapper, it's not quite as good as their Scrapper either. This is another, just like those wheels on Scrapper. They don't hold in snug. But, yeah, there he is from the back. This is another thing. So, this one sits, kind of over top. This one actually has a peg that'll peg in here to the back. But it doesn't hold all that great. I'm not even sure if it's meant to, but it does fit. And look, that siren piece has come off again on this one. Yeah, there's just this one seems like they were trying to get it out before Chinese New Year, and as a result, a couple things just lack a little bit of polish. But still a good figure. Let's do size comparisons, because I think this is going to be bigger than the MMC. Size comparison wise, there he is with a Fans Toy Stunticon and an X-Transbots Constructicon. So he's about a little bit shorter than a Fans Toy Stunticon, but I think it looks pretty good. There he is next to the MMC, significantly taller, honestly. I might do a versus of these two. I think it might be worthwhile. But yeah, it's interesting to see them next to each other because they are approached differently for being as similar as they are. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do a versus on these. So real quick, before we get out of here, let me show you how this turns into the med bay. So you want to make a fist with the hand, and then rotate this piece back around. Actually, rotate the wrist as well. Not that it really matters, but rotate this piece back around. All right, that's your kind of bed. You want to take this section, rotate it around so that it fits underneath, and then you want to take these arms that are tucked in here and bring them out. And then kind of position them as you see fit around. And like, that's it, you know? But I think that that's cool in its own route. Like it's a medical bed, right? Like it's a medical bay. And like, I don't know, to me, this kind of thing is so much cooler to use the parts forming pieces for than like base modes or something like that. Like, I don't know. I think that that's, you know, within reason, cool. Obviously, I'd never buy it on its own, but I think that as an idea, conceptually, it's cool on its own. Final thoughts wise, let's start with the negative. There are a couple moments where it feels like you gotta bend plastic past plastic, but it also could be just my inefficiency with the transformation. You know, sometimes other people have reviews up, and if I have a situation that I bump into where I'm not sure what to do, I can kind of cross-reference it. By the time that I'm recording this, there are no other reviews up, so I was doing the best that I can. But I actually think that the transformation is pretty cool overall. I wish that a lot of the backpack solidified a bit better, and honestly, I wish some of the legs solidified a bit better in the lower leg. Don't get me wrong, the lower leg's pretty solid. I just think it could be done just slightly better. The backpack, like the side doors and all that, I wish really came together and locked in. Articulation-wise, it's pretty much good to go, although I would have preferred if he had a little bit more of a head tilt down. That is one look that I have found myself wanting and not being able to achieve. I'm also not 100% crazy about the tone of red for the emergency and the V on the side, or the triangle on the side of the vehicle. It's just a little too like fuchsia for my taste. And there is a lot of like joint rub and paint chipping throughout the process on this guy. So be warned about that. If you're getting this just for combine mode or something, you might want to consider just transforming it into combine mode. I have a lot of little paint chips on the floor of my display or my review space right now. And then there's like stuff like the tires, like the rubber tires constantly kind of coming off of the die-cast metal on the chest, as well as the sirens coming off of the forearm pieces. Like just things where it seems like this could have been done better if we didn't feel the need to rush this out before we went on vacation. But I don't want you to think that I think this is a bad figure, because I don't. And let me get to why. Positives wise, the materials feel good. It's painted extremely well. It does chip and all that kind of stuff, but it is painted well and looks good for it. I really like the transformation, and I think it is one of those things that will get smoother as you continue to loosen up some of those joints, specifically those pieces below the windows on the knees, the elbows, just some of the places where they're a little taut, like a taiga. The sculpt is fun. I feel like character comes through in it. The alt mode looks good. The combine mode looks really promising, and it has tons of articulation. The only thing it's missing is like a forward ab crunch, but double jointed elbows for the full range shoulders with the butterfly joint, full range ankles, up, down, and a rocker, full range hips, decent knees. You got to move that one part around to get the full bend, but like it's really well articulated. So overall, it is a recommend from me. I would say it's not quite as good as their Scrapper, but light years beyond like their Grand Rajan and some of the other sillier stuff they've been doing recently. So definitely a step in the right direction and a good looking member for the team. So I hope that helps. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.